Oh yeah. Julio just scored a home run. Mariners
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming back. Welcome back. It's Asha and Fnan. My name is Asha. This is Fnan. We are covering Real Housewives of New Jersey, season 13, episode 8. We are a little late in posting these. Life got in the way, but we're back. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. We'll be linking our socials as well as always. And let us know your thoughts. So let's get started. We go into episode 8. Episode 7 kind of ended at Melissa's luau at her shore house. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
still in the Jersey Shore, and everybody's waking up, and Dolores is calling Polly. One of my notes here is that Jennifer's having breakfast at her house, and she made like a whole Turkish breakfast for everyone, which looked so good.
It did look good.
It looks so amazing. I was like, that would be a dream to wake up to. So now there's basically showing what's happening at Jen's house and what's happening at Melissa's house. So the other people that are over at Melissa's house, I think it's like, who's at Melissa's house? Like
It's
Dolores
Marge,
or
Jackie,
Rachel has
Dolores.
her own house. Her
Yeah,
okay.
and I think Rachel's with Dolores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dolores is with Rachel. Okay. They were talking about like what happened that night or the night before. Um I didn't have really many notes about like what was actually said. I just said that like they were discussing what happened previously, like at each house. One of the notes I have here says, Melissa, you need to get it in your head that Trey does not like you or your family. So I think when I had that note, it was because they were talking about the fact that Louis was trying to find Melissa's mom to say sorry and also to apologize to her, or to invite her to the wedding. And like Teresa seemed like she still had like an issue with it, but she wanted to go along with it because Louis wanted to go along with it, which is like whatever. But then we get a little bit deeper into why they actually have an issue, and it's because of some business, and it was because they were gonna run their own line of pizza ovens. Joe wanted to put down like a quarter, or wanted to put down like half the money, but he wanted like all of the profit. That's kind of like what I got from it. Do you kind of remember that, like what they were talking about?
Yeah, so it looked like Joe Gorga asked Louis to put down $250,000 and he put the money up, and then Joe didn't put down anything and was expecting to get 50% of the profit because of his face and things of that nature. And I guess because Louis was the one who only put the money down, he only gave Joe 5% of the company and not 50. And Joe just felt so hurt about that because he was just expecting to get 50% of the profit, even though he'd put any of the money down. And it's like, dude, like you gotta put the money down. And I think Teresa was like, did you put the money down? And I don't think that it happened. And eventually I think Louis ended up losing $250,000.
Uh, the note that I have here is Joe and Melissa are scammers, but so is Louis. And so is Trey. Honestly, they're all fucking scammers. But I feel like Melissa and Joe are in the wrong in this situation. Like, Joe, you want the profit, but you're not even putting in anything. And in what world does that make sense? I guess.
Yeah. I think he was expecting to work with Louis and expect complete trust with Louis. Joe could finesse the shit out of Louis. But basically, I think Joey was expecting for this pizza place to honor their um his father. I think it's supposed to be called Nono's Pizza. And
Mm.
I guess the business name was changed into Skinny Pizza or something of that sort because Louis
Oh
was the
yeah, it
one who
was
actually
because of
invested
the.
all of the money, and Joe was upset that it wasn't Nono's Pizza and it wasn't 50. He doesn't get any
Profit.
50% profit. So yeah, like I just feel like Joe is also in the wrong. And Marge had clocked years ago that like Joe scams people, and like literally last season there was a, I don't remember the girl that was on the show. Her husband was
But
scammed
there
by
was
him too.
somebody. Yep.
Yeah, so I it doesn't surprise me that Joe finessed Louis. I'm not sure if Louis is a scammer. I'm not sure if Teresa's a scammer, but history has shown Joe is a scammer. I don't know if you saw this, but I saw this on social media that um, Rachel's husband, Pluto, whatever his name is, I call him Pluto. He actually gives free flooring to Joe, and he
I
gives free
saw
flooring to
that.
Joe so that, and because he gives free flooring to Joe, they submitted Rachel as a person to be on Housewives. And so now she's on Housewives because of that. That's what I heard, allegedly. I'm not trying to get sued, but allegedly that's what's been happening. And that's why Rachel's on the show, potentially. I don't know. Allegedly.
We move on to the next scene. Rachel is having a party at her shore house. Everyone is arriving at the party. I don't really think that anything really happens all that much when people are just arriving, but Rachel's house is nice and the party looks cute. Jackie is spilling Jen's tea. So my note there is I just said shut up. She's spilling it to the other girls before Jennifer gets there, I think. Just about how her and Bill aren't like happy right now, or they're just like kind of going through some issues. That's what I have in here. So the forgiveness video is weird. And I'm trying
Oh
to think of
yeah,
like
because Louis, like, what are you doing? I actually really love that Joe clocked that and like did his own video with everybody in the group.
I'm just really dead. Like that's just so weird.
It was so weird. I don't even remember who was in that video. Was it Bill and another dude in the background?
It was all the dudes. And
No,
they were like
not with Joe, but for Louis. I think it was like just two.
I think it was just Bill. Or yeah, I don't remember, but it was fucking weird. Um I was like, what is happening? And so like my notes here are just like Dolores looks really good in her confessional.
Oh my gosh, she
Um
was serving in that
she
black
was
hair.
snatched.
Yeah.
She looked like she was our age. Like maybe even younger. Like she looked really good. So the forgiveness video is weird. And then I said the other team is arriving. So the team that was already originally at Rachel's house is like Marge, Jackie, Jen Fessler, like that. The other team, the dream team, my dream team, Jennifer, Teresa, Danielle are showing up. I didn't really have any notes about that scene. All I knew was just like Jackie was talking to everybody about what Jen had told her the night before, and then the guys made that forgiveness video. Like, do you have any other notes?
I don't really have any other notes. Other than Dolores was serving in her confessional with dark hair. And I did notice that after Jackie was sharing that Jennifer and Bill are kind of going through issues, it was really just, it was good hearted. It was just good to see Dolores be like, what? Like they're having issues? Like that's not
Yeah.
good. Even though Jennifer and Dolores are having issues, like Dolores can just put that aside and be like, damn, like they're having issues. I care. Like I'd like to figure out what's actually going on because she loves them as a couple. And
Mm-hmm.
I just like, Dolores is about to
Don't go
become my
for her.
daughter soon. Like she
Dolores
has
been my
bound
daughter.
she has bound Frank finally, thank God. And she's trying to make it better with Jennifer. I love that. She's about to be my daughter soon. Also, I guess I noticed too that the girls were talking about issue with Melissa and Teresa again, and I guess Melissa shares again that she's upset with Teresa in regards to not inviting her mother. And I'm like, this is the same shit over and over and over and over and over again. Didn't we just get through a scene where Melissa and Joe were talking about it? Like,
Does your mom even want to go to the wedding? Like, does
right,
she even want to go at this point? Like, this whole back and forth would make me not even want to go.
right. So that's all I have to say about that scene.
into the next scene, my next note just says the food looks so fucking good. Which it does.
It does
Polly's at
look.
home resting. Like the food looks so good. At the luau at this party, like they know how to cook. They have some chefs back there. Polly's at home resting. Dolores and Jen make plans to talk, which we think is really sweet. We were just talking about that. And then Marge and Danielle are talking. So Danielle's upset because she feels as if Rachel went to Marge and just kind of like snitched on the stuff that she said. But Rachel kind of ate Danielle up in this scene a little bit. So, like, I can't even lie.
What did I say?
I said
nothing.
kinda.
Exactly.
I said kinda. And it was only because Danielle I was like, Danielle, if you're going to bring this up, you need to have like a rebuttal. Like, you need to have like proof that Rachel was also saying shit. So she goes up to Marge, they talk, and then Danielle grabs Rachel to come and talk to Marge as well. And they're talking about like this whole, arsenal comment. And Danielle sees it as Rachel talking shit about like whatever they were saying and just going straight to Marge. Rachel sees it as, I'm just sharing information that you shared to me. And I didn't say anything. Like, you're the one that was saying, like, Marge was like this, Jen said that she was like that, blah, blah, blah. I didn't say anything. I was just listening. And I was like, damn, you can't even say anything like that. You can't even say anything to that, Danielle. Like, she really did not say anything. Because if I remember back in the beginning of the episode, like, she was just listening. So
Bravo also would have clocked that tea with a
exactly. They would have shown that. So Danielle kind of lost in that moment because she was going to come up against two people, but just didn't have her facts straight. She had her facts straight, but like she couldn't prove that like Rachel was also saying anything because Rachel actually wasn't saying anything.
Seven more chops for Danielle on my end. She's not getting the infinite chops yet. None of these girls are. I just don't like either of them. But Rachel, you're right. Rachel did clock Danielle, but I just thought like it wasn't necessary for Rachel to say what she said to Marge. It was told in confidence. So 7 chops for her for not being loyal.
Mm-hmm. So being loyal to the other newbie.
Right. 49 chops for both of them at this point in time because we're at, oh wait, no, 8.
7 times 7.
What's 7 times 8?
56.
Okay, 56 chops for each bitches because they've had
none of them have redeemed
themselves.
Who got the 8th chop?
We're on episode 8, so they got 7.
Oh, it's 7 chops an
episode. It's 7 chops each episode.
Okay, 7 chops an episode, you guys. And then my other note was Danielle apologizing. Ugh, that was my note. But I'm like, who did she apologize to? Rachel or Marge?
She apologized to Marge for saying.
Okay,
well, she didn't
for
even
saying
know.
what she said.
I'm sorry that you felt this way. Is that kind
That's
of
not an apology.
Which
so,
is not an apology.
That's not an apology.
Yeah.
It's a like.
And Marge is rightfully
upset. It's literally a sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
Like, that's truly how I feel when people apologize like that. It's a sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. And Marge is upset about it, and she's just like, I'm going to go get a drink. I'm going to get a water, and leaves. And then I think Danielle and Rachel have a conversation about what just had happened. Danielle feels finessed, and she doesn't trust Rachel the same way.
She doesn't trust Rachel. Yeah, she feels weird about it now. Like, Rachel's like, are we okay? And she's like, I don't know. Like, I feel kind of the same way as Danielle too. I've had moments like that in my life, and I feel like, okay, wow, you're like, why are you going back to tell this person something I confided you in? Like, that's kind of shitty. I kind of understand like where Danielle's coming from, but also Rachel ate her up in the sense that like she didn't say anything, and she really was just reporting that information. Was it necessary for her to report the information? No, but she did, and she didn't say anything bad about like Marge or anything like that. So they get 0.5 points for me. Rachel gets 0.5, like half a point. Half a point. Half.
She gets half of a chop.
I still like Danielle more. So we go into the next scene. Everyone's enjoying themselves at the party. My note here is just making me laugh. So it says, Trey is now saying if Joe called her, then she would have invited Melissa's mom. Okay, how many other things have to happen before you can actually invite Melissa's mom? I do believe this, though. I do believe that, like, if at the beginning, like a couple episodes ago, when Joe was mad about it, if he had just called Teresa to be like, hey, why is Melissa's mom not getting an invite? Like, that's, like, this is family, blah, blah, blah. Teresa would have sent the invite by the end of the fucking phone call. I believe that. But, like, all this other bullshit, like, it's just so annoying. And the fact that we had to come to 8 episodes, or like a couple episodes after that episode of like talking about Melissa's mom not being invited, to get to this point when I really feel like this was actually just the root cause of it all. She just wants Joe to ask her. She doesn't want anyone else to ask her. She doesn't want Melissa to ask her. Bro, why are we talking about this again? And then my next note was Louis is weird in all caps, but I think I was saying that because he said that he wears Nono's pajamas to bed. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Well, I think that happens later. I think you think it's weird because at this point, Teresa tells Louis to talk to Melissa, and so he pulls her to the side to check.
Okay, that's why. No, because I have a note a little bit later. It says, why does Louis wear the pajamas? Okay, but like Louis, I'm still saying Louis is weird in all caps for whatever happened in this moment too, because I understand that he's trying to like resolve everything. In my head too, I'm like, you're 2 years into this relationship with Teresa, whereas like this stuff has been happening probably for like the last 10 to 15 years. Like you have no idea what's going on. And like even the kids are starting to notice what's going on, but now they're like kind of old enough to see. But like for Louis, this is like a completely new territory for him. Like I'm sure he probably feels like he knows everything, and like his mom is a therapist, so like he feels the need to analyze things and seeing how he can like get to the root cause of the issue. But bro, this is like kind of scary. And also like we love Teresa, but you're kind of on like the wrong side of it because you're on Teresa's side, and she's like she's not being cute about it. Joe and Melissa aren't being cute about it either, but I don't know.
This family needs therapy is the problem. Like they need a mediator between both of the families, and Teresa and Joe need to listen to each other because they don't do that. They just talk.
Yeah, they just talk.
No accountability between either of them. No accountability. They cannot say that one person's wrong and the other person's wrong. It's this person's more wronger than this person, and that's it. It's very irritating.
It's very toxic.
It's 10 years of this shit, bro. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, so my next note is saying, oh yeah, all the girls are talking, and then they're talking about, Danielle's family again and her brother. And my note here says Trey and Danielle gang up, period. So like, yeah, like Trey and Danielle are like, shut the fuck up. Like Teresa's like defending Danielle, and she's just like, why is her word not enough? Jen is defending her too. She's like, if Danielle says this, like, why is her word not enough? And they keep fucking pushing the issue. So then Danielle leaves. She leaves.
7 more chops. She
leaves.
8 times 8. 8 times, yeah, no, 9 times 7. What? I don't know what that is.
So I thought it was 8 because we're on the 8th episode. So why are you bringing up 7
it's 7 chops. No, she got 7 extra chops in this episode. So we're at 63 chops.
We're at 63 chops. She leaves, but then Danielle.
Then Teresa brings up her brother and Melissa up again. It was the most redundant scene I've ever seen in my fucking life.
I was dying, by the way, like when she did that, because she brings it up and then she's like, Jackie, shut the fuck up, my face. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. It's not your fault. Like, I'm sorry, that was hilarious. Like, I was laughing so hard. Jackie, shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of my face. Like, that's how I feel about Jackie. Trey's just saying everything that was on my mind. And then she's like, oh, you have displaced anger. Like, I don't know why you're coming at me. First of all, Jackie, fuck you and your fucking facial expressions. Like, you don't have to say anything, okay? if I can see you out of the corner of my eye reacting to what I'm saying, like with your fucking face, I would have said this exact same thing if I was Teresa. I would have been like, you need to get the fuck out of my face and shut the fuck up.
I think Jackie was coming from a friend of Melissa in that moment.
I know she was.
And I don't think she was wrong for doing that. I know you don't like Jackie, but I don't think she was wrong for doing that. Because like, why, Teresa? Like, why are you bringing up daddy issues? And why are you bringing up that your brother needs therapy? Why are you talking so negatively about Melissa? Why don't you go just talk to her? But she does eventually go to talk to her. So
I don't think Teresa was right in yelling at her. I'm just saying, like, I would do the same if I were her. Like, I would probably be in that same way where I'd see someone I don't fucking like at this damn table. They're listening to me talk about my family issues and then they're reacting to it. They're not even keeping their facial expressions to themselves. Like, get the fuck out of my fucking face. I'm about to flip
I really
out.
Get it.
Jackie, Teresa's about to throw her damn drink. She chills.
She's like, this is therapy.
She's like, this is therapy. That's gross.
Kind of.
If anything, Jackie should be lucky that she just only told her to shut the fuck up because we know what Teresa's capable of, okay? She can flip a table. So she is so lucky that that little table at Rachel's party didn't go, like, on the other side, okay? That's how I feel.
I feel like if Louis wasn't there, she would have gotten chaotic.
Oh, it would have been bad.
But she knows if Louis there, she can't do that
because he's gonna drag her. Okay, so then we go into the next scene. I need to take better notes because my notes just...
There's still more to this.
What happened to that in that scene?
Okay, so Teresa then goes up to Louis and Melissa. Is that what you have?
Oh, no.
Okay, so Teresa goes up to... interrupts Melissa and Louis get together. Like, they're both sitting together. And Teresa ends up... Louis gets annoyed because Teresa interrupted Melissa and Louis's moment, and he gets very upset that she's interrupting their moment. Mm-hmm. And he yells at Teresa, and she's like, okay, and then leaves.
Yeah.
You have that?
I remember that. I don't have that here. I just remember that.
So then she leaves. Then all of a sudden Joe comes and sits down with Melissa and Louis. And then Louis invites their mother to the wedding and apologizes for everything. Then Melissa, so after Teresa has that freak out moment to Jackie, Melissa walks out to the girls, and then Louis and Joe have a one-on-one, and he says he wears his father's pajamas to make his niece go sick. What the fuck? This scene was one of the most chaotic things. Like, there's so much happening. Then Teresa walks up to Louis and Joe and asks why he didn't call her to tell her to invite his mother-in-law. Then Joe says he called Louis and Gia to make Melissa a bridesmaid and you didn't do anything. Then Joe says he's so mad at her, and Teresa says, I'm mad at you too. Then Teresa says, well, I wish you would have had my back with Marge last year. Is that what you have?
I don't have that, but I do remember everything that happened. Yeah, that, yeah. Like, and that was just another reason for Teresa to be upset.
Yeah, and then Melissa walks back to Louis, Teresa, and Joe, and Teresa explains why she didn't make her a bridesmaid. She said she didn't have her back with Marge last year. And then Melissa was like, well, you should have stuck up for your brother last year when Jennifer was coming for her. Teresa, which is a read, like, Melissa got Teresa in that moment, because you know what Teresa did? She walks out angrily. Yeah. And then, I don't know what
that's basically it.
Yeah.
Like, they start fighting. I think Louis is good for trying to stick up for Teresa. It's definitely a change from the shit I see on Bravo with the men. Teresa's making it harder every episode for me to be on her side.
She is. She's clicking down.
It's not like I'm going on Melissa's side, but it's
Joe
more just
are
like
clicking down too.
Yeah, like I'm not on their side, but like I'm not on Melissa's or I'm not on Teresa's side right now too. I'm like more neutral because I'm like
Mhm.
this is getting like so frustrating. Like I'm not even a part of your guys' family, and I'm just so sick of this.
Yeah, I think, like I was saying before, like I just feel like they both are wrong, but they think one person's more wrong than the other, and because the one person's more wrong than the other, they should apologize. But it's like you both are wrong, equally wrong, and you
So
both need
therefore,
to
we should just
apologize to each other,
apologize to
and
each other.
both right, and you both need to take about accountability for all of the shitty things that you guys do to each other. Also, if you don't like each other, just say that. Just say
Yeah,
that.
siblings don't have to like each other. Like they don't have to like each other. There's people that I know that have like a bunch of siblings, like over like five or six. You're bound to not get along with one of your siblings if you're like that. But even in like a smaller family, like it's just a personality clash. That's just what it is, and that's okay. Like no, it's human nature to not like every single person. And if that person's in your family, then that kind of sucks. But like that's just what it is.
Right.
There will be certain times in your life where you just grow apart, or and it's just because of like the other circumstances in your life, like you're getting married, you have kids, um, and you can work through all that, but they don't even seem like they're working on it. Like they're just telling other people how much they all hate each other.
Yeah, it's just
Like, aren't you guys done with
extremely
this?
toxic. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's I'm over it. Like I'm tired of hearing about it, I'm tired of seeing it. Like I'm tired of Teresa being like, if Melissa did this, then she would have been invited to this. Like, why do they have to do something for you in order to like get your love or your affection or your friendship or your relationship? Like, and I know Teresa's been like this forever, and she's growing from like certain parts of like not being so mad and reacting in the moment and all that stuff, but like she's still like emotionally stunted and things like this. Like moving on, forgiving.
Right.
Joe and Melissa are a different
Exactly.
story, but I don't give a shit about them. So like I would rather talk about Teresa because I actually like Teresa. Melissa's fake. Joe is a bitch. It was just Louis
I
giving
have
Joe a
more
hug.
notes. I have more
What were you gonna
notes.
say?
I was gonna go over what happened next, unless you had what happened next. No? Okay, cool. Okay, so after Teresa walks out, she walks back in and she asks Joe eventually asks Teresa, why are they so distant and why is she so mean? Teresa gets confused and Joe asks if he is happy and she says yes, he has been happy. And Teresa says, I don't think you've been happy. Because if you were happy, you would try to make the family, but you would also have the family be that way.
Oh,
Melissa was like, well, you should have stuck, you let Jennifer talk mess about your brother last year. You called him a bitch boy. Da 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 da. Teresa denies what happened at the reunion last season, and Joe walks away and starts saying, this is sad. You're the matriarch. Look at you. Marge finds Teresa and Louis, and Teresa tells Marge, you need to help Melissa understand that this wouldn't have been an issue if she would have had my back last year. Louis leaves. Oh no, Louis argues with Teresa and says, Teresa, you're not listening. You need to listen. Like I don't know why he gets mad at her, and I'm like, huh,
well,
Melissa
weird.
might not be wrong about him having like two sides to him, like
Mm-hmm.
the good guy and like
Hmm.
the other rude guy. And then he clocks Teresa saying that her and her brother are the same because they don't listen to each other, which is T. They don't listen to each other. While Joe is trying to pull his car back out or pull the car back out, which is so funny because Joe is so much shorter than Melissa, right? So he has Melissa pull the car out because he's too short to see
He's too short.
whose car happens to be behind him. Louis' car happens to be
Louise.
behind him. So then he goes
Right,
back
right, right,
in.
right.
So then he goes back in to find Louis and says, Louis, I need you to move your car. Louis goes back to get the car. Then Joe is being trolly because he notices that Melissa and Marge are talking to each other, and then, or not Melissa, he notices that Teresa and Marge are talking to each other, and he's like, "Oh, I thought you didn't talk to the nasty woman. I thought she was your enemy. Why are you talking to the nasty woman?" And Joe is being extremely trolly, and it really angers Louis. Looks like he wants to fight Joe.
Yeah.
But then eventually he stops and he helps move his car back. And then all of a sudden, like, it's so fucking chaotic. Like, who writes this shit? Or who does this shit? Then we get to Louis moving the car, and then he starts talking to Melissa and Joe and says, like, I just want us all to be a happy family. And like, wasn't it 5 minutes ago you wanted to fight Joe and now y'all are talking?
You literally wanted to put Joe under his car, but now you want to be a
Yeah.
happy family. This family,
Yeah.
they give me whiplash. They give me whiplash. I'm always like,
It's crazy.
what's going on? Yeah.
And I guess Melissa and Joe ultimately say the root cause of this issue is Teresa. So, yeah.
You go figure that out.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they say. And I think that's how the episode ends. Did you have that? Or did I just take over?
I like completely like forgot about
Okay.
when Joe was trying to move his car and Louis had to come and move his car out of the way. I forgot about that part. But other than that, no, I feel like you encapsulated the end of that pretty well. It was chaotic. The last like 15 minutes were really chaotic. Like everything else was like, okay, this is a normal Housewives episode, party, drama, blah blah blah. But like the last 15 minutes, it's like, okay, we're going to talk about the same thing that we've been talking about for the last 13 seasons. Let's go ahead and keep talking about that. Let's go ahead and involve someone that like legit just came in like a year or two ago. He truly does not understand the dynamic between you three. Let's go ahead and invite him in and make him a mediator of some sort. I'm just so over it because I'm trying to be on Teresa's side, but Teresa's not like doing herself any favors when she's like, if you would have done this last year, then we would be okay. But it's always something. It's like I'll do that, but then you told me why didn't I do this last year, or why didn't I do this 3 years ago? Like it's always going to be something. So now I'm kind of understanding Melissa's point of view, where she's like, it's always something. Like I'm always
it's always
gonna.
me.
She's never gonna. Yeah, she's never gonna be. Melissa's never gonna be good enough for Teresa, and she's never gonna be good enough for Joe in Teresa's eyes, because like what the fuck is this? Like I'm so over it, and Teresa is unbearable. Like truly, I like trying to think about if I had to deal with her as my sister-in-law. I wouldn't. I would be out of that family. We're good. Like because clearly your sister's in love with you, and she wants to be with you. She doesn't want you to be with anybody else. Like that's the vibe I'm getting from Teresa right now.
Teresa's anger is misplaced. Like it should not be with Melissa. Like Melissa, I feel like Melissa really liked Teresa, like was genuinely happy for Teresa when she found her or found Louis. It looked like Melissa really was just vibing with Teresa. But I think Teresa, like she has always said, she forgives but doesn't forget. So if you've done her wrong, she's gonna keep that in the back of her mind. Never really like be cool with you.
Let it go.
She'll never let it go. I feel bad for Melissa a little bit. I still don't like her, but I feel bad for her because she's just kind of looped into something when it's really Joe and her that have an issue and really need to communicate better with one another. Louis is just getting into shit that really he needs to just stay out of.
Yeah. He's just too new to the game.
Yeah. Hopefully next episode's better. Like we get some new drama.
Yeah.
Because this one is.
I'm over it. They need to move on.
And
the thing is, they're not going to move on during the season. We're going to be talking about it still, but they just They need to come up with something quick for next season.
You know, we're over it, but that means like we're over it because they're doing a good job. Like they're wearing me out, and that's how I should feel. Like that's how I should feel after every housewife show. Like y'all are wearing me the fuck out, but I still will come back
Exhausted.
every episode because y'all are doing your job. Y'all are wearing me out.
I guess they're clocked in.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks so much for everyone for joining us for episode 8. We'll be back next week with episode 9, or this week with episode 9. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts, and please connect with us on our socials. Yeah, thank you so much. We will be back next week. Bye.
Bye.